Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Gemini April 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, first thing up is as far as April goes, the Sun will be in Aries from the 1st until the 19th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Gemini at this time, there could be a lot of attention, focus, concentration of energy into being aggressive, assertiveness, being courageous, showing fortitude in matters connected with friends, acquaintances, and even in their goals and aspirations, and really going toward the future. At the same time, keep in mind that Aries energy can be more confrontational, combative. So it could be a time too where you might be calling friends out and really you might be more confrontational in matters with them, but at the same time, given this courageous Aries energy and often fearless, you might be more inclined to stick up for them than usual and fight for their rights at this time. So anyway, and also Aries energy could be very action oriented. So it could be a time where you might really be more inclined to take action in matters pertaining to your future, your goals, your aspirations, and really in matters with friends and acquaintances as well. So anyway, next thing up is as far as April goes, the Sun will be in Taurus from the 19th until the 30th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Taurus, this could be a lot of attention, focus, concentration of energy into being very persistent, but plotting, methodical, and steady in matters connected with solitude and seclusion, with your private matters, your personal life. And also this could be about, and also focusing too on limitations and restrictions, such as maybe being at peace, having tranquility, having calmness in your life, and perhaps even love as well, and really things connected with things that are committed, and just showing more persistence in general, focusing on that limitation perhaps, and maybe doing something with it. At the same time, this could be, I mean, you look at the Sun, this could be about shining the light on a hidden adversary, which could be a Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in Taurus, or it could simply be somebody that embodies Taurus-like characteristics, or even be maybe in like a Taurus type profession, such as a stockbroker or banker, or somebody that works with a finance or doing cultivating, something that might be Taurus related. So anyway, well, the next thing up is the new moon will be in Aries on April 15th, so the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Gemini, this could be a time where Gemini might start something with a lot of courage, initiative, and enterprise, and downright fearlessness that might be connected with a new friendship. Perhaps it could be a new goal or aspiration. An aspiration may be started, or a goal that may be something Aries related, such as something with firearms, or some kind of fighting sports, such as something like karate or boxing or wrestling, or just self-defense, which is often, of course, the martial arts. This could be a time where one may embark on a new friendship or an acquaintance that could be a Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in Aries, or simply somebody that embodies Aries-like characteristics. This could be a time as well where you look in the 11th houses where one might aggressively tackle their future, and start to do that with a lot of that really that Aries assertiveness, that courage, and that fortitude as well. Anyway, well, the next thing up is going to be the full moon in Scorpio on April 29th. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Gemini, this could be a time where Gemini kind of becomes tired or full or exasperated at maybe a crisis or upheaval, or some kind of maybe mystery connected maybe with somebody in their daily routine, or maybe it's a health crisis, or even something in their employment. Also, too, this could be perhaps a completion or culmination of some kind of transformation or metamorphosis connected with one's health as well at this time. And also it could be where a work-related mystery or something health-related or somebody connected with your daily routine, or even a missing pet or something mystery pertaining to a pet even, may come to a conclusion at this time. And also could be a work-related thing that is associated with something Scorpio-like, such as the occult, supernatural, astrology, forensic psychology, psychiatry, locksmithing, could come to an end or completion at this time. This could also be about unleashing a lot of intense, powerful, and even convoluted emotions. Maybe it's somebody that you work with in or someone in your day-to-day routine. It could even be somebody doing that to you, or somebody prominent in your health life as well. So anyway, well, the next thing is Mercury will be in Aries, so the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Gemini, this could be a time where Gemini might show in terms of their communications with friends and acquaintances, be more outspoken, forthright, and really aggressive, and also might share a lot of more pioneering and original ideas with friends and acquaintances, ones that come up very spontaneously, very abruptly. Also, too, this could be about a time too. I mean, remember that Mercury is also over short journeys, so it could be a time where Gemini really takes some initiative and enterprise and maybe does something in terms of maybe doing some errands, or giving some friends and acquaintances some short journeys at this time, such as going to the store or just in their general neighborhood, just maybe giving them some rides. And it could also be a time to remember that Mercury is going to be retrograde for about half the month. So even though Mercury is in very forthright and blunt, outspoken Aries, there could be a little bit more review before speaking at this time, and some of the speech might be a little bit more indirect as well during that period. Anyway, well, Venus will be in Taurus as far as April goes, from the 1st until the 24th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time, well, I mean, keep in mind you're talking about the 12th house and in Venus, so it could be a clandestine affair with maybe a Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies those characteristics. It could be love of sensuality, peace, tranquility, in solitude, seclusion, creature comforts, enjoyment of those in private as well. Now, it could also be about, too, there might be more financial limitations at this time than usual, since we're talking about Venus and the 12th house. And if you're involved already with somebody, a significant other, romantic partner, this person might maybe fade out of view to some degree, or be a little bit more distant than usual, because the 12th house is about restrictions and limitations. Now, in some it could also be about a love of money, and maybe being even overly avaricious and greedy could be oneself undoing as well at this time. And keep in mind too, I mean, the 12th house is the house of mental illness, even though Venus will be impacting the house for that long. It still could be, I mean, in some cases, there could be some onset of a mental illness connected with a like a relationship type issue, or some kind of obsessive love, or something to that effect, and something connected with relationships. And remember that the 12th house is about our limitations and restrictions, and there might be some social anxiety or something going on at this time in some isolated cases. So anyway, Next thing up is Venus will be in Gemini as far as April goes, from the 24th until the 30th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, there could be a really strong love of oneself and for the qualities that Gemini exhibits, such as being very multifaceted, very versatile often, really being able to talk on a wide divergence of subjects, being very dexterous and really communicative, articulate, and really at this time as well, Gemini might find themselves maybe involved with two romantic partners simultaneously. This could be one or more could be connected with somebody they knew from their early childhood, or one that really impacts, perhaps really it maybe plays a strong, prominent role in shaping oneself at this time. And another thing too is that this could be about perhaps an enjoyment of mental stimulation, maybe with somebody that they knew from their early childhood. Could be purchasing communication products for oneself as well at this time, and really more need to be more attractive at this time and looking even more youthful perhaps than usual and attractive. So there might be more a thing about really trying to look better at this time than usual. So anyway, and really about love for oneself as well. So anyway, next thing up is, well, Mars will be in Capricorn, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Gemini, well, this could be about more contentious and acrimonious situations, perhaps with a sexual partner or somebody they're in an intimate relationship with. It could be over even alimony payments in some cases, and it could be arguments over responsibilities, perhaps with somebody that they're in an intimate or sexual relationship with. It could also be about a lot more serious and consistent discipline energy in 8th house matters, such as matters connected with perhaps the supernatural, occult, astrology, taxes, inheritance, and even alimony in some cases as well. And remember too that we're talking about Mars and in the 8th house, they're both connected with surgery. So this could be a time where there might be maybe a surgical procedure at this time, and it could be on something Capricorn related, such as the skin, the knees, or the bones as well. And anyway, and also too, this could be about really putting a lot of energy into 8th house matters, a lot of that vitality and energy into them, and ones that's very consistent and disciplined and doing things, perhaps maybe making a major transformation in oneself as an example. So anyway, people, next thing up is, well, Jupiter will be in Scorpio still, so the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, it's going to be retro as far as April goes, the whole month. So anyway, well, for Gemini, there could be a lot of luck and fortune, perhaps through making a transformation or metamorphosis at their place of work and employment. It could also, remember that I've talked about this in previous videos, that Jupiter can be very paradoxical. It has, I mean, it's really very benign and benevolent, but it could also be, have a tendency to enlarge and expand as well. And it could expand Scorpio-like health-related issues, such as something with the pelvic area, reproductive system, urinary tract, or even the bladder at this time, and especially if it's making an inconjunct from the 6th to the person's actual Gemini ascendant. So anyway, and it's also about perhaps generating one's own luck in a way, especially so given that it's retro during this month, perhaps in going beyond the superficial and subterfuge in matters connected with one's daily routine, maybe in also at the workplace. It could also expand perhaps surreptitious and nefarious activity in one's place of employment as well, or maybe even with people that they know in their daily routine at the same time. This could be. Now remember that this is going to be retro during this month, so this could be about more of a, it could be a reviewing period uh, for Gemini in terms of maybe reviewing maybe a philosophy, maybe that might be very deep and profound, that is related to one's health perhaps, and in maybe even one's employment and work life. So anyway, next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, this could be about certain restrictions and limitations, perhaps in matters connected with sex. It could be about making a major change or transformation. It might be with matters with a sexual partner or someone they're in an intimate relationship with, which could cause certain despondency and making Gemini feel somewhat melancholy at this time, since we are talking about Capricorn and Saturn energy. Now, it could be a time too for Gemini where he or she might be taking care of somebody that a debilitated sexual partner or someone they're in an intimate relationship with, and it could be something connected with the knees, the bones. So anyway, another thing too is this could be, given that we're talking about Saturn, and Saturn could be the father. This could be where the father might figure more prominently in a major change or transformation in Gemini's life, but also too might be more about maybe a crisis as well, might be connected more with the father, or maybe the father has something to do with a crisis that Gemini has to endure. Keep in mind too that it's going to be retrograde as far as April goes from the 17th until the 30th. So there could be a strong review over responsibilities in 8th house matters, such as could be surgery, alimony, inheritances. It could be taxes, insurance. So anyway, next thing up is Uranus will be in Aries, so the 11th house as well be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Gemini, this could be about maybe dealing with friends, acquaintances that might be somewhat unusual, unorthodox, bizarre, and the friendships may be more erratic and sporadic at this time than usual. But friendships could also figure more prominently perhaps in one's goals, one's aspirations at this time. Maybe these aspirations and goals might be something Uranus connected, such as something with the esoteric, like astrology. Also, it could some other things. It could be aerospace, astronomy, computers, electronics, and even innovation. So also too that this could be a period too where you might see more shocking behavior perhaps from friends and from acquaintances at this time than usual, and it could be joining some kind of Uranus-like group or organization, such as something the esoteric, including astrology, something with aerospace, astronomy, computers, or electronics. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Neptune will be in Pisces still. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, this could be a time where perhaps one's career might be a little bit maybe nebulous and unclear at this time, and even a dominant parent, which is often the father, and authority figures might be this way to Gemini as well. This could be, though, also about perhaps the connection with the dominant parent, or even with authority, one or more authority figures. They might be dissipating or dissolving, or and also too, this is where drugs and alcohol or alcohol at times may, or some people may, impact one's reputation and public image. This could also be a period too where Gemini might take a career, go in a career direction that might be Neptune related, such as something with photography, chemistry, the metaphysical, which could include astrology, something with special effects or illusion, and maybe even, something I would say too, as far as Neptune goes. I mentioned the special effects, but even something where you're talking about maybe uh, it could even be working with people that might be in drugs or in alcohol or doing something of that nature as well. And really, and also illusion too could be working, as a magician or an illusionist. So those could be something where maybe Gemini might be directed to at this time as far as the career goes. So anyway, next thing up is Pluto will still be in Capricorn. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, this could be, I mean, a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I do it anyway. So in this case, this could be about the death, a literal death of somebody that that Gemini might be in a sexual or intimate relationship with. In some cases too, this could also be really about maybe gaining, I would say, or I should say, this could be an obliteration or destruction sometimes in matters connected with taxes. Sometimes it may indicate a time where maybe Gemini is not going to pay any more taxes. Or this could, and at the same time too, it could be about getting power in matters connected with inheritances, or maybe through making a major transformation in one's life at this time. And also too, keep in mind too that this is about, I mean, you're talking about really about, sometimes this could be about upheavals or power struggles with somebody that Gemini might be in an intimate relationship or sexual relationship with. And also too, really looking at this could be about maybe putting a death to the idea of actual death, maybe about thinking about life after death. And that could be another, I think, way that this could be really, a way that this could manifest. And also about too, this could be also, remember that you look at this too, this could also be about the obliteration or ending even of credit card debt at this time, and getting power and control over matters that are connected with debt and with taxes as well, and even perhaps insurance matters. So anyway, well, next thing up is the North Node will be in Leo. So the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, when the North Node is in transit, this could be about issues that one has to confront and address. So this could be about perhaps confronting a domineering, overbearing, arrogant, even flamboyant sibling, or even a neighbor. It could be someone, it could be too, how this could manifest is that this could be about maybe being directed toward being more extroverted, maybe with people in your short journeys, with siblings, with neighbors, taking pride and dignity with matters, perhaps with transportation. It could be showing more generosity with siblings and with neighbors as well, maybe with people that you knew from your early education. This could also be about maybe doing things. It might be where you might have to be a little bit more extravagant with matters, 3rd house matters, such as maybe your transportation, such as your vehicle, maybe making a few more expenses, but also really your communication and being able to talk with dignity, and doing so with a lot of that Leo-like courage and really that, I should say, that confidence and self-assuredness. Anyway, next thing up, the Black Moon Lilith will still be in Capricorn, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Gemini, this could be about where you might have like an unveiling or revelation of maybe a sexual partner or someone you're in an intimate relationship with that might be showing some real ruthless, tyrannical, and overambitious qualities, and perhaps really showing some cold, callous, and undemonstrative qualities as well. This could be too about where, I mean, when you have the Black Moon Lilith and this could be also about something that might put someone in a very strong state of trepidation. and fear. And what it could be, this could be about maybe, for example, not having a consistent sexual life, or maybe even having a limited or restricted situation in matters pertaining to shared resources, or having limitations in getting moral or emotional support from someone, losing authority over a shared resources scenario. And at this time too, this could be about something that Gemini doesn't want let out of the bag, so to speak, but still may happen, whether they do so inadvertently, or somebody lets it out for them, so to speak. This could be some kind of limited or restricted situation, or depressing sexual life Gemini may have, or something that just might be depressing regarding really the support they have, that emotional support or moral or what have you. And this could be, I mean, something where and it might cause a lot of despondency and making Gemini feel melancholy, because we're talking about Capricorn energy. Also, too, this could be the revelation or unveiling of a formidable adversary. That could be a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies those characteristics. And it could be somebody that may be involved in a shared resources scenario, or in some cases even a sexual partner, or someone they're in an intimate relationship with. Well, next thing up is Chiron will be in Pisces as far as April goes, from the 1st until the 16th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Pisces, this could be about perhaps going through some emotional wounds and suffering, perhaps connected, maybe being overly passive and defending one's reputation, public image. Maybe it's matters connected with one's career, and maybe in some cases too, this could be about the dissipation and dissolving of one's career, reputation, and public image, which could be leading to a lot of really maybe some suffering and emotional wounds. And there also, this could be really about maybe dealing, it could be with the dominant parent or an authority figure, which may be succumbing to drugs or alcohol, and just could be dealing with general confusion, and where one's career might be nebulous at this time. And given this, at the same time, remember that Chiron is the wounded healer. So in the ways that Gemini might be suffering in connection with Chiron and Pisces and the 10th house, they could actually maybe have the ability to help others going through comparable situations, and doing so with a lot of that Pisces self-sacrifice, empathy, and compassion. Now, last but not least, Chiron is going to enter Aries in April. It'll be in Aries as far as April goes, from the 16th until the 30th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, this could be about a lot of emotional suffering and emotional wounds connected with perhaps contentious, acrimonious situations with friends. It could be very combative ones. It could be, in some cases, physical confrontations, or it might simply be through suffering through lack of being assertive and aggressive in matters with aspirations, with goals, the future, and with friends as well. And this could really be also where friends might become somewhat of a headache at this time, which could be causing Gemini maybe some emotional suffering at this point in time. And at the same time too, you look at this too, when you're talking about this Aries energy, it could be over not being, in some cases, maybe outspoken enough over situations connecting with friends and acquaintances, where maybe Gemini needed to speak out about and maybe just failed to do so as well. And also maybe not being overly aggressive and assertive in matters with groups and with organizations, maybe in joining one or more, and maybe just didn't capitalize on the opportunity, and Gemini could be facing repercussions maybe because of that. But anyway, keep in mind too that Chiron is the wounded healer. So again, in these areas that Gemini could be going through some suffering in connection with Chiron and Aries, and the 11th house, they could help others dealing with comparable situations, and do so by using a lot of Aries, by being aggressive, by being assertive, and by being outspoken. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Gemini April 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'm going to be talking about astrology and assassination. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.